Renault has very big plans for the Indian market with over 5 cars slated to be launched over the next 2 years, one of which is likely to be this SUV, the Duster. It's based on a platform that we are familiar with, the Logan platform. But as you can see, it looks very different and far more appealing. In Europe, it's badged the Dacia, but when and if it does come to India, it will be the Renault Duster. Well, we are taking our first look at this car to see what it's like. Although the Duster is built on the Logan platform, from the outside it is impossible to tell that the two are related. And thank God for that. Indians have a soft spot for SUVs, and that should make things easier for the Duster. Though at 1.7 meters in height, it really won't stand tall over other SUVs. It's not butch looking either. Still, it has a smart face. And when it comes to India, the Dacia logo will be replaced with a prominent Renault lozenge. From the side, the Duster looks quite plain and simple. However, the purposeful bumper, the running board and overtly flared wheel arches hint at the Duster's SUV pretensions. Its beefed up suspension gives it 210mm of ground clearance, and the large chunky tires make it look ready for the rough road. At the rear, the Duster gets bubble-type tail lamps and a rounded tailgate. It just doesn't gel with the rest of the design. Look closer and you'll find some cost-saving measures like the simple lift-type door handles that we saw on the Logan as well. It's hard to shake off the Logan comparisons when you get inside too. Now, the Duster has also been built to a cost, so you see things like there's no door beading on the door itself, there's only one on the frame. And when you get inside, there are some things that we've seen on the Logan before as well. For instance, the power window switches are only on the center console here, and for the rear windows, they are only here at the back. So that is a little bit of cost saving there. Other than that, the plastics and the interiors just feel a lot more upmarket, but they still are a hard wearing variety. Still, the Duster feels better built and more upmarket than the Logan. The black dash looks smart and will definitely age better. However, poor ergonomics continue as the aircon switchgear is tucked away at the bottom of the center console, making it hard to get to. However, when it comes to space, there are no complaints. The Duster's front seats feel nice and wide. Though a bit more back support would be welcome. The back seat is pretty good, possibly even better than the Logan, and that is saying a lot. With an extra 43mm of wheelbase over the Logan, the Duster's knee room is excellent. The well-designed rear bench can accommodate 3 people sitting abreast without complaint. It's really comfy for the long haul. Once I hit the road, the driver's seat proved great to be in. Duster has a nice confident seating position. You sit quite high up, and that's nice to look out at the rest of the world. To get going, the Duster shares its 1.5 DCI motor with the Logan as well. But don't worry, as this engine has been uprated to a much more potent 107 bhp. There's more torque on tap as well, which is channelized through a 6-speed gearbox. Driving the Duster in the city will be a breeze, as its short first and second gear mean you can really amble around without any hassle. Spin the turbocharged motor past the 2000 RPM mark and it develops power cleanly, and it will run to the red line without faltering. The 6-speed gearbox makes good use of the punch from the engine. It feels nice and tractable even at low speeds. Out on the highway, it does feel quite comfortable. The tall 5th and 6th gears allowed the engine to turn over lazily as kilometer after kilometer of the French autoroute zipped by. But the Duster wasn't a very lively car to drive at speed. The gear shift, however, doesn't feel very precise. It ends up feeling a little vague. The steering weight is a little inconsistent, and there's a dead feeling at the dead ahead position. Apart from that, you get a little bit of understeery feeling when you're turning into corners. After all, it is a pretty tall car, and it is a front-wheel drive car. The Duster rolls a fair bit around corners, and this 2-wheel drive version distinctly understeers. The steering lacks feedback and doesn't lend confidence when going into bends at higher speeds. It's really no surprise that the Duster isn't at the sharp end of the scale when it comes to vigorous driving. Its McPherson strut front and torsion beam setup at the rear isn't really tuned for sporty driving. The tall tires of course help the ride as well. Though we really didn't hit any rough patches, the ride proved to be supple and pliant and remained unaffected even by a full load.
The Duster comes with tall profile tires. The ride is also set a bit on the softer side, so it feels very nice and comfortable. Despite that, out on the highway, it exhibits a nice grip on the road, which makes it feel quite confident.
What can be a little fatiguing is the tire noise. There's quite a bit of it that intrudes into the cabin. There's quite a lot of wind noise as well. However, the cabin for the most part is well insulated from the slightly coarse and noisy motor which can be heard when revved hard. So while the Duster isn't a dynamic SUV, it is comfortable. Its diesel engine is capable and proved to be fuel efficient as well when the Duster hits Indian roads in 2012.
When the Duster comes to India, it will be a package hard to ignore. It's so well rounded. The engine is good for driving around in the city. It's got good tractability. Out on the highway, also it cruises quite well thanks to its 6-speed gearbox. A bit more punch would have added to the excitement of driving it around. When you get on the inside, you'll find there's good space, there's good comfort. Though there isn't a third row of seats, and a bit more refinement and plushness would have really added to the experience. And when it comes to that SUV-like presence, there's some of it missing. This is a bit tame from the Indian expectations of that hulking SUV. However, the last factor and what will clinch the deal for the Duster is its price tag. At an estimated 7 to 8 lakh rupees, the Duster is going to be hard to ignore when it hits the Indian roads.